Okay, we're doing a test. So this part of the video is recorded with my LG G6, and then the second part of the video I will record with the new Samsung Galaxy 9 Plus. So I'm near Chicago, Indiana, stuck here until Tuesday. I thought I'll be in Canada by now, but unfortunately that was not in the cards. So the machine is still here. So that's hole number 2. And this is hole number 1. And what happened here, that was kind of like the operator's mistake, human error, right? There was a bungee cord right here, and it just did this, you know, at a very bad spot, right at the edge. Might be difficult to fix. And also you see here, because the tarps were flapping very bad, and I think I'll ask them to redo this. And actually this one is already torn. See, there's a very bad spot in the and you see, like, I don't know, these tarps, they say they're 18 ounces, but they don't look very strong, you know. Look, I didn't see anything on the top, but like I mentioned in the previous videos, I added these straps. Oh shit, that one might do something later over there. That corner, that looks pretty sharp. But anyway, there's definitely going to be more holes later on, but what do you do? So I added this one because this one was flapping like crazy, and I have that one. And oh, you see? Another one. And that's why I don't like tarping. Here's another one. So yeah, I don't know, how did this happen? Nothing there. In the back it's okay. But yeah, like I said, it's gonna be definitely gonna be more holes, but I'm making good money with this. And they were actually okay topping like this, because they said all they want is 8-foot drop tarps, because the most important part is there's some kind of a turbine inside, like some kind of a big shaft, and that shaft is in there. And there was like a little window here on the side with holes in it, and I guess they were afraid that water will get in. But so far, so you know, this is typical stuff. This is what happens when you deal with. But normally, like, see, that's the worst point over there at the top. That's where the top will definitely get ripped. But I put 2 blankets on each side over there, and 1 blanket in the front. And this thing over here was actually protected by some kind of like a foam, like a rubber, but I guess it fall off, and this thing just pierced through. And I just did this so that it doesn't get worse, you know, that it doesn't move, because as soon as it starts moving, that's it. That's when it starts damaging stuff. And you see, and that's when these you don't want them like that, you want them like this, away, right? You see here, the same stuff. As soon as you do it like that, see, it starts damaging the tarp. I'll redo it later. And so yeah, so I did some good time this past few days, right? Only when Tuesday I was in Laredo. Yeah, I was getting my permits, and now it's Friday, and each day I was driving pretty much till my hours were all used up on my ELD. And yesterday I planned everything. I was in Illinois, and I was driving an I-57, and I researched the sunset time. It was at 7:26 or 7:28, no, 7:26 p.m. Central Time. And I check on my permit, it says half an hour, can drive 30 minutes after the sunset, right? So 8:26, that's 726, that's 756, right? And I'm driving, and of course there's construction, there's detours, and I've been driving all day, and it's 8 o'clock, and I'm still, I think I was like 20 kilometers, like 12 miles away. And there's a scale. By the time I reached the scale, I was 8 miles away, 14 kilometers. And the scale is open, and it's already like 10 minutes after 8. They pulled me in. Bring your permit. So I bring my permit. The guy says, oh. I said, sir, I know it's dark, right? But I have a high value load. I'm just trying to get to the pilot, which is like 5 minutes away. Oh, you're not gonna make it to the pilot tonight. And of course, you cannot argue with them, right? And I said, can I go to the rest area? Because I saw on Google Maps there's a rest area. The guy says, no, that's 30 miles away. And he says, the pilot is all filled up at this time of night, so you better stay here. And so they directed me to the ramp, and he says, make sure you have all your parking lights on, your rooftop flashing light, and your trailer flashing light on, so people can see that you're oversized. And I'm like, okay. But I said, how will I start the truck in the morning if I have my lights on all night? And the guy said, well, you might need to idle a little bit. And then I watched them. The scale was open until midnight, and then finally midnight they left in a Chevy Impala. And so I turned off my lights because I would just kill my battery. And I just put a portable battery operated flashing light on the back there, and I was right under a light pole, so there's lots of light. You can see me from 10 miles away that I'm oversized, right? And it's hard to see sometimes, but the widest point on this load, it's not this, it's over here. See, like this part over here? This is 11 feet in diameter, and so over here it sticks out. And actually I like this load because, when you go through construction, right, those barriers, they're somewhere here, so, and over here I'm only a little bit oversized, maybe like, I don't know, 9 feet, 9.5, right? And so I can go through some narrow construction areas because my widest point is so, like 8 feet, 9 feet in the air. So it's a pretty cool load, except of course it took lots of time to top this, but what do you do? If you want to make big bucks, this is it. And like I said, now I'm gonna carry these tarps, right? I got the spot for them over there behind between the wheels. And so then today, so that was yesterday, right? So they don't care that you don't have any food, right? So I only had water in the truck and some vitamins. So I was chewing my vitamin C. I probably ate half a bottle of vitamin C and vitamin D because I have those like chewable, And then in the morning I drove and I stopped at Effingham, Illinois at I-57, I-70, because I realized that today is August 31st, the last day of August, when your heavy vehicle tax form 2290 is due, right? And I printed out the form online, I filled it out. All I needed was a money order for $550 and some stamps and envelope, right? Seems easy enough. Well, not so fast. So now we're switching to Samsung Galaxy 9 Plus. Well, this Samsung, yeah, it takes some getting used to. Everything is different. Like, took me a while to figure out how to switch cameras from back to front, I really like the simplicity of LG, but now I figured out where the camera is over here. See? That's why I have to look over there, because if I look like this at myself, it's as if I'm talking towards the right of the camera. But anyway, so we're continuing inside, but maybe let's step outside to see how the phone handles the outside noise. And so yeah, so what happened is I I realized I was late with the payment, and it's always a big problem for me as a Canadian, because you know, in Canada, yeah, it's fairly easy for me to pay taxes, you know, transfer money from my bank account. But in the States, it's all different, right? I cannot just send money from my bank account directly to IRS. I have to register a special account, you know, what is it called, something like e-file or whatever, e-payment. I don't know. It's, you know, in your own country, it's always much simpler. And since I know lots of my most of my viewers are Americans, right? So they're probably listening to this and laughing. But again, for me, like a simple thing like mailing a letter from US, like I hardly use mail, you know. But if I need to do it in Canada, I just go either to Canada Post inside the mall that I know that seems to be always open, or I go to a UPS store where I have a mailbox, right? But anyway, so I filled out the form on the night before, the $22.90, and then Effingham, I went inside the Walmart, right? Because these guys sell money orders, right? And one other thing that happened over the past few days is that somebody tried to steal money from my debit card. And I was buying something at a restaurant and my card did not work, so I had to use my credit card. So the debit card was declined. And so I called my bank and they said, well, somebody's tried to charge, like, are these your transactions? And the guy reads off a list and it's like 2 or 3 transactions that I don't recognize. You know, one is like $95 from T-Mobile, you know, and then he says, did you buy any music online? I said, no. And he says, well, we're gonna block this card, and when you're back in Canada, and I say, hey, I'm in Texas, I have don't block everything, you know, leave something, right? And so they left me only with a credit card, with a Visa, and the debit is basically, it does not work anymore, right? And so I go inside the Walmart and I say, okay, I need to buy a money order for $550, and I see the fee is only like 99 cents, which is perfect, except the lady says, well, we only take a debit cards or cash. And so I don't have a debit card. So I go to the ATM bank machine and I try to get a cash advance from my Visa, right? And I know I have money in there because I checked before. And of course the ATM would not give you $550 or $600. That would be too simple. It says maximum amount $300. And the fee is like $20. Well, maybe like $3.95, you know, $2.95, whatever. I say, okay, I'll have to pay the fee and take 2 withdrawals. So I punch in $300 and I get back an answer says insufficient funds. And so I call my bank and I say, guys, what the heck is going on over here? What are you trying to do? I said, well, I try to buy a money order and they don't take Visa. You block my debit card. So I'm trying to get cash. Oh no, sir, that's a credit card. It's a very strict limit. The maximum is $100 Canadian a day, maximum 300 Canadian a week. And I said, okay, so what do I do? Oh, well, you might want to go to a bank and get a cash advance. I said, who will give me a cash advance? I don't have an account in the States. Normally they don't do it with people just coming in from the street. Well, it's not their money, it's a Visa, right? It's a cash advance from Visa. You just bring your passport. And that's easy enough, right? So right across the street from Walmart in Effingham, there's a Midland Bank. So I go in there and they say, no, we don't do this. I say, why not? Oh, because we don't have that machine, the machine for cash advances. Try the Washington State Bank across the street next to McDonald's. So I go over there and they're all smiling. No, you don't have an account with us? No, we cannot help you. And so I tried a couple of other places as I was driving, and then finally I made it. Oh, and then I'm driving and a friend of mine calls me, and he's hauling an oversized load for Landstar from Ontario into Michigan. And he says his permit says he cannot travel in Michigan today, Friday, August 31st, after 12 noon. And I said, no, I said that's not what my permit said. And he says, are you sure? He says, you better double check. And I said, well, I'm trying to cross the border today because there's no travel Saturday, Sunday, right, in Michigan, for sure. And Monday's a holiday. And so I was basically killing myself to get to the border before 8:30 p.m., which is sunset is at 8 o'clock. I figured I should be able to make it at 8:30. By 8:30, and I did all my border crossing paperwork. Everything is set up. And they did have some problem with that, but they fixed it. I intervened, got the broker to call the customs lady. So we did all that. So now I'm ready. I'm passing Chicago, and my friend says, you better stop and check your Michigan permit before you enter Michigan. And so I stop, I check my permit, and sure enough it says no travel in Michigan after 12 noon. No travel Saturday, no travel Sunday, no travel Monday. So the first thing when I can enter Michigan is Tuesday at sunrise. I think 30 minutes before sunrise, right? And this is it. So I thought I would be in Cambridge. I would drive to the border today, and then it's only 2 hours to Cambridge from Blue Water Bridge. I thought at least I would, drive my car around. No. So I had to call the Landstar girl and say, hey, change of plans. I said, I just discovered that I cannot enter Michigan today. It's too late. So let's move the delivery from Tuesday to Wednesday. I said, I'm going to leave here first thing on Tuesday near, Chicago, Indiana side, and I'm going to be there Wednesday morning. Okay, so that's what's happening. So and then finally over here I walked. I tried TA, I tried another truck stop. I found a cash place, where they cash checks. Nobody's taking credit cards for money orders. And I said, is there any banks around here? So she directs me to a Chase Bank. I go there and I say, well, I know you probably guys gonna start screaming at me, but I need a cash advance. I'm from Canada. I said, my debit card is blocked. I don't have any cash. I need to buy a money order. And of course they say no, they don't sell money orders with a credit card. And of course I said I don't have an account. But she says, okay, let me see what I can do. So it took her like maybe 20 minutes. I gave her my driver's license with my address, my passport, but they were able to give me a cash advance. So Chase Bank, in my experience so far, with this little nightmare for alien Canadian to get a money order with a visa. So Chase, I love you guys. You did good. And so then I went to back to that cash place, gave him cash, bought a money order. And when I was at Walmart in Effingham, I bought a bunch of stamps. So I put like 2 rows of stamps on a big envelope with the $22.90, put the money order in. And then the next, of course, search is to find the mailbox. I googled it, and there's a post office, USPS, was like 700 meters away. But I already walked like, I don't know, maybe 2 miles. So I called the Uber, and I said, I want to go back to a truck stop, but let's do like a quick stop over here at this post office. And we did that. So I dropped off the envelope. So finally it's paid, but I checked the collection times, and I dropped the envelope. It was like 20 minutes past 5, and the collection was at 5 o'clock, and then tomorrow, Saturday, the collection is at 12 noon. So if they take it 12 noon, then the stamp on the envelope will be September 1st. And that means that my payment will be late. So IRS might have some fun with me, you know, like they might send me a letter saying that I need to pay them some fees. But basically, I need some checks, you know, that's what I figured. I have a US dollar account in Canada. I don't know if I can get checks for them, but I need to be able to write checks in US currency. Otherwise, it's a nightmare, I'm telling you. And so what's left to do now is my cab card. You know, the registration expires at the end of this month. And I already have the envelope from the office, from the Ministry of Transportation. I just need to fill it out, confirm the data, attach the actual miles I did since I started trucking by my own name. Like, they want to know specifically how many kilometers or miles I did in each state, like where did I go, you know, like which jurisdiction in Canada and US. And this way my fee for the tag will be, you know, might be lower, because the first year they just look at everybody, what everybody's doing, right? And in my case, there were a bunch of states where I didn't even go, or a bunch of provinces I didn't go to Western Canada, right? And so I need to attach that, and I need to change one thing in there, because I realized that I've started hauling heavier and heavier loads. And in New York, I'm registered for 150,000 pounds gross, but you can go 10,000 pounds more to 160. And that's one thing I need to change on that form, which is already pre-printed pretty much. And that's it. So I'm going to prepare that one, but I'm not going to mail it from here, because it'll take like 2 weeks, right, from US to Canada. And I'll just, since I'm going to be back home on Wednesday, I'll just hop in my car and deliver that envelope with the forms myself to that office in Kitchener. So this way I don't miss my, you know, the renewal of my cab card, which is very important, because without that cab card you cannot drive, right? It's like a title or ownership. And then another important thing I need to do is my annual permit for Ontario expires, I think, in November, but now I can order what they call enhanced permit. And this enhanced permit in Ontario with my 4-axle truck and 4-axle trailer gives me a possibility to do 71,000 kgs gross, which is about 152,000 pounds. And this way, I don't have to do any amendments, you know, so it's 152 gross up to, I think, 14 feet tall, up to 12 feet wide, up to 80 feet long. I don't have to do anything. My annual permit will cover me, okay? And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take care of all this paperwork, whatever I can do here from US, sitting in my truck. And then when I'm back home, after the delivery, I'm gonna take care of it. And this was a quick update and also a test, right, to show you guys. This is my first time I'm using this phone as a camera. And the picture on the screen, like when I look at myself, it looks pretty good. And the diesel over here is 341. I filled up in Effingham at a small station over there at Walmart. It was 296 a gallon. So that's a big difference. So that was with a Visa. Oh yeah, one more thing. Oh, by the way, that whistle thing disappeared because now I'm draining my tanks before I start driving. I drain all the tanks. But also I bought the filtering element for the air dryer. And I don't want to do it myself. I think I'll try tomorrow this TA truck service and see if they will be able to replace my existing air dryer with this one. So this is it. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Happy long weekend. I'll guess I'll talk to you again. Maybe I'll do a video, or maybe I'll go downtown Chicago, do some photography, because I cannot imagine sitting here for 4 days. So thanks for watching. Captain Sergei out.